Namaskar and good morning to all of you. I'm sorry, my throat is really bad, so maybe some disruptions. Right in the beginning, let me thank the organizers, respected Mr. M.P. Narayanan, Mr. Ravi Gupta, Mr. Shankar Agarwal, General Rao, Mr. Ravi Gupta, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. As far as the secure IT is concerned, then I'm not a man with IT background, you see. So I was really finding it a bit difficult to relate to this. But then the word which really encouraged me was the use of this disaster management, ICTs for public safety, security and disaster management. Disaster management is what I have been, doing, practicing and living on it, you see, for last maybe 15 or more years, you see. It's my second opportunity. I was also here last year and really enjoyed being amongst all the participants in this event, you see. I will be speaking to you from two perspectives. One is the state perspective, you see. I work in Patna in the state of Bihar. I work with Bihar State Disaster Management Authority as the Vice Chairman, while our Honorable Chief Minister Mr. Nitish Kumar is the Chairman of the authority. So I bring with you a state perspective as to what is happening out there, in one of these states called Bihar. Because all these speakers hitherto, they have talked from larger national global perspectives, you see. Second is that, friends, allow me to concentrate and focus more on disasters and disaster management, you see. As has been brought out by many of the eminent speakers before me, this whole subject of disaster management, and IT, they are sort of embedded, married to each other, you see. How wide, how serious is this whole business of disaster management is something which we need to appreciate right in the beginning, you see. One of our seniors, Mr. Raghunathan, I'm sure he knows, but he mentioned only about the natural disasters, you see. But sir, the approach historically till now has been to look at disasters from the point of view of natural hazards, you see. What we call as natural disasters, you see, are really unnatural disasters caused by natural hazards, you see. But then there came in 2005 a legislation for the first time in this country called Disaster Management Act 2005, you see. And that has for the first time defined disaster, you see. And it says, I've got a copy of the act over there. It says any mishap, any occurrence, etc., any calamity, any catastrophe which is arising out of natural causes or man-made causes or by accident or by negligence or all those activities which have adverse effect on environment, you see. So you can see how wide suddenly the definition of disaster has become very, very wide, you see, and rather open, I would say. From what we have been traditionally used to looking at disasters, I was Relief Commissioner in the state of Bihar. I was also Relief Commissioner in the Government of India, you see. Until then we had this word of relief, because one orientation was that, okay, you look at disasters in terms of relief, that is post-disaster. You don't really look at it, pre-disaster kind of perspective in terms of prevention, reduction, etc. And second was only looking at it from the point of view of natural disasters, you see. But here comes a jump, from natural to practically any disaster, you see. And today you are really hearing about disasters which could be caused even beyond these. I mean, you can remotely say that, you see, if this force of, 25,000 professionals in China, which was just now mentioned, you see, who are being prepared as a cyber army, you see, to attack and destroy, the systems of another country. I mean, that is going to be as much of a catastrophe or disaster as any other disaster, maybe more than other disasters, you see. So the whole field of disaster has become very, very open. One really shudders to think at the whole possibility of taking up this challenge, you see. Because I don't think the nation even today is prepared to, to say confidently that yes, we are prepared to deal with natural disasters, you see. And here comes a new paradigm where you're looking at disasters in a very, very comprehensive and holistic kind of manner, you see. But I hope that we take several leapfrogs, you see. We have been, Indian society has been able to really take quantum jumps and leapfrogs, as my friend Ram Sevak was saying. And I hope here also with the use of ICT, you see, I think that is the only hope, you see. Use of ICT, the special data, the NSTI, all these geomatics, etc., which we have been talking, it should be possible. One can see that it should really be possible to create this kind of a virtual world of data, etc., which really enables you to connect, things in any big event, and then really take actions, whether be it for advanced prevention, reduction, or management, if it were to happen, you see. So that is first thing I wanted to share. The second is, what do I do in my position, or what does the Bihar State Disaster Management Authority do really? This act lays down three-tier kind of a system, you see. National Disaster Management Authority, which is chaired by the Prime Minister, and then there is a vice chair, other expert members. Then every state is mandated by law to have a state disaster management authority to be chaired by the respective chief ministers and with certain constitution, more or less like the National Disaster Management Authority. And I would say the most important link is the District Disaster Management Authority, you see, where traditionally again it has been something which is one single district magistrate or the collector-led kind of a relief-oriented action, you see. But now this whole District Disaster Management Authority has been broadened and institutionalized, with the inclusion of district boards, the public representatives who come up through the Panchayat Raj system, Jila Parishad, their Adhyaksh as the co-chair, and then civil surgeon or the civil engineer or other departments or even the police, etc. And then the NGOs also in the District Disaster Management Authority, you see. But I think one of the major areas of concerns for me remains, which we have not been able to really address seriously throughout the country, is the functioning and the role of District Disaster Management Authority, especially when it is seen in the perspective of 73rd and the 74th Amendment of the Constitution, you see. We have a constitutional obligation, you see, of Panchayati Raj and local municipal bodies, you see. And I am sure the faster we move towards devolution of powers and operationalization and the strengthening of these local level bodies, you see, I think the better moving towards governance, you see. Better governance, good governance. I think this whole area of ICT for public safety, security, disaster management has to do with the basic issues of governance and good governance, you see. Disasters also looked at, you see, disasters and development are very closely interlinked. I'll just talk to you about that. And many people, there is a line of thinking globally which says that the development deficit, it is the development deficit which leads to disasters, you see. All unresolved problems of development are the seeds of disasters, you see. That is what they create the disasters. Now, before I come to that, let me a little bit elaborate on the Bihar State Disaster Management Authority, set up in 2007, but became operational only in 2010. And now we are into various activities, you see. Two major areas which we are really trying to focus is public awareness, and second is capacity building, you see. Public awareness is very, very important. I think public awareness is the very first step towards any disaster risk reduction, in my view, because I keep sharing a very crude example that if somebody is standing with a pistol behind my back, pointing at my head, and I do not know about it, what is the risk reduction action which I can take? Nothing, you see. I have got to know the risk which is behind me or around me or ahead of me, you see. Therefore, the approach now, from relief it went to disaster management, but then disaster management also has a connotation of post-event response, you see. So now it is disaster risk reduction. So you try to identify your risk, profile the risk, assess the risk, analyze the risk, you see, and then with that proceed towards planning, strategizing, and taking action in advance to even prevent the risk, as far as possible, you see. So there is a major kind of a campaign which we have generated. Of course, it doesn't happen overnight, let me tell you. It really takes time of creating public awareness, you see. See, Bihar, if I look at the scene of Patna, which will be again applicable to many cities, Patna has long, it's a kind of a safe city in the sense that it has had one flood event. There have been many events of urban flooding way back in 1975. I used to be a probationer then, you see, and we were deployed in that, you see. Then it has been fortunate that there has been no major earthquake event, you see. It has been fortunate that man-made other events like blast, this and that, etc., also chemicals, industries. Unfortunately, we don't have much of them, so fortunately we don't have that risk, you see, in a way. But then we have had a plane crash, you see, aircraft crash in 2000 in the city of Patna, you see. Near Patna in Gaya, we have had a Rajdhani crash, you see, in the mid of the night, you see. So I think keeping all these in view, one has to really create the scenario, you see. It's in zone 4 of seismicity, which Delhi and NCR is also, you see. And one has to really look at it from that point of view. People in Patna or the present generation do not know that there was an earthquake way back 80 years back in 1934, you see, which destroyed practically whole of North Bihar. And we have got vivid pictures of, that we have dug out in these 80 years back sort of pictures. And we took a decision in our authority with the presence of the Chief Minister and everybody that we will start celebrating this Earthquake Safety Week, you see. And this whole page advertisement came in the newspapers, giving them information as to where you are, what are the zones in Bihar and all that, what is the meaning of zone 5, 4, 3, etc. and what to do, you see. People had a little bit of mild experience on 18th of September recently when Sikkim shook, you see. Patna also shook. And then we tried to really analyze and study the response of the people, you see. And you see the response, like I suppose in Delhi also, where I have lived for a long number of years, is that people just do not know about these risks, you see. And they just don't know what to do. And most of them do not know how to do, you see. So I think that is very, very important. We have also taken a decision to observe Flood Safety Week on the first week of June, you see. And let me tell you, Government of Bihar has also gone ahead with what it is called technically coming out with a sankalp, resolution of the government to celebrate these weeks and which way it will be done, etc., etc. And we requested all the district magistrates, all the field officials to observe this, you see. It was the very first time we had not been able to allocate the funds and all that, you see. But the kind of reports which have been coming of the activities held even at the panchayat level is something which is really amazing, you see. It is something which is very, very encouraging to a person like me who is working over there, you see. Then there have been little bit of attempts, you see. This also gives the photographs from 1934 earthquake. And we created a calendar, you see, on earthquake safety, earthquake risk reduction, you see, using all the photographs from 1934 earthquake, you see, which we dug out. Pandit Nehru was involved, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was involved. And it has been put in the form of a desk calendar very intentionally because the desk calendar will hopefully sit on your desk for the whole year. It will be there if you don't have the liking only for Vijay Mallya's calendars, you see. And if you prefer that, okay, this also has some value, then you will keep it. And on the front, it gives the photographs along with the month and the slogan. And each back page is a fact sheet on earthquakes, you see. Various aspects of earthquakes, seismicity, zoning, what to do, what not to do, global best practices, etc., etc., etc. I hope I had enough copies somehow, but in case Ravi would like, sir, you can take a look at it and you write to me, then we can definitely try to send, some more copies. We have been trying to involve a lot of PSUs. So Indian Oil Corporation now, with their big servo, this logo is bigger than our own. I said that is perfectly fine with me. They have a network of 1,000 outlets in Bihar. I couldn't have imagined. Imagine the number of people who go there of all strata of the society. From people like us in our cars, to tempos, to trucks, everyone goes to a petrol pump, you see. So not only this, but now we are also launching a major campaign on road safety, you see. That is unfortunately the biggest disasters, the biggest killers. Statistically, it kills more people than all disasters combined, you see. Many places where I go, DIGs have told me that, sir, in our place, in our division, in some division of Bihar, it is 3 times, it is not just twice, you see. Situation is so bad. And yet this country, simply because it happens in ones and twos and all that, we just do not recognize and do anything, you see. Today the automobile scenario industry is booming, you see. I don't know if one should take the name, but I take the name that, people like Tata's has come up with nanos on the social plank. I wish they had also come up with, some kind of a fund of, say, 100 crores. I'm just saying, you see. I'm sure others would have rushed, to chip in on that. Create a network of training institutions like Cafe Coffee Days, where all of us like to go. Let the drivers come. Let them be tempo drivers, doesn't matter. Let them feel nice, for 15 minutes. Give them a cup of coffee. Show them some videos. Give them some pamphlets, you see. Tell them something that, look, yeah, your life and others' life, how precious it is and what do, you see. And let me tell you, it is not just the tempo walas, you see, or the bus walas, or the truck walas. Each one of us is a our profile on the road is very poor, you see. I think it is we are totally intolerant and all. I'm talking about this because, I just wanted to also highlight that road accidents are also now included in the definition of disasters. And I think in this country we really need to do something on that, you see. Now, let me come back to this whole issue of governance, you see, which is closely connected to what we are talking, you see. When we talk of disasters and development, you see, in Gujarat, Bhuj earthquake, I suppose the state of Gujarat lost something like maybe 6% of GDP. India maybe around 2% of GDP. Something like that happened in Odisha. But there are countries like Haiti, in the Pacific, I think near Latin America, who lost 260% of their GDP in January 2010 earthquake, you see. But there is another country nearby called Chile, you see, where another earthquake followed, you see, in February, a month later, which the strength of that was almost 40 times bigger than what happened in Haiti. But Chile didn't suffer human or infrastructure losses, you see, to that extent. Practically nothing compared to what happened in Chile. What happened in Haiti? Haiti, the president was, presidential palace came down and the president was on the street, literally, you see. Till now, despite whole of World Bank and whole UN system, I've had some Indian engineer who had spent about a year over there meet me recently in Patna, and he said, sir, the situation is still as chaotic, you see. That is because basic governance is totally missing, you see. Take the case of Chile. Why is it that they didn't suffer, you see? We have tried to look into. And there are two things they did for 30 years, my dear friend, you see. One is public awareness, you see. which I think is very, very important even for this subject, you see. I wonder how much of awareness and education is there, let alone public, even in the government system, even in the bureaucracy, even, government system, when I say right down, district down to municipal bodies and panchayats, etc. I think it is close to nil. And I think our colleagues who are in the government of India, I think, and all of us, I think, not just some of these colleagues here, we need to really take note of that whole community here as to how can you really reach them, you see. Unless until you reach them, I don't think you are really going to succeed. The second thing which Chile did was safe construction, you see. Because if this building is not safe, God forbid, and something happens, then our life is in danger, you see. But if this building is safe, then it is fine, you see. And that is why it is said that earthquakes do not kill, you see. Earthquakes don't really kill. It is the buildings, and not only all buildings, but only the unsafe buildings, you see. And yet, despite this, we make unsafe schools, kill 400 children in Bhuj, unsafe hospitals, kill 179 patients, nurses, doctors and visitors in Bhuj, where the district hospital went down, you see. The statistics say that almost 50% of casualties in any such disaster is of children, you see, followed by women, and then elderly people, you see. And what do? We don't do anything. We don't have municipal laws, we don't have implementation of the National Building Code, you see. So we started saying in this kind of a thing, you see, very small, let me take a minute. Everybody argues that, sir, there should be municipal act. You must enforce that. Why should there be unsafe construction? Fine, yes, accepted. But then we also know our own society, our own implementation of laws. What is the other side as far as the public's, the demand side is concerned? So we are saying on a small corner, but this is going to blow up, let me tell you in coming days. Ghar surakshit to aap surakshit. And there are 4-5 things which we are saying. Today when you go to buy a land or an apartment, one thing everyone makes sure is that the land should not be disputed, you see. That much of clarity and awareness we have, because we know कि फिर तो फंस जाएंगे जिंदगी भर के लिए. अगर land disputed है, title clear नहीं है, you see. ये तो बात ठीक है जनाब. तो लेकिन क्या वो बिल्डिंग सेफ नहीं होनी चाहिए जिसमें आप जाएंगे, जिसमें आप, आपके बच्चे, आपकी फैमिली, आपके मदर, फादर, एल्डर्स वो रहेंगे, you see. Do we ask that question, you see? I don't think, unfortunately. So what we are now saying is that प्लीज घर या फ्लैट खरीदते समय पूछिए कि वो घर, वो जगह कौन से जोन में है. बिकॉज देन जोन विल डिटरमिन व्हाट फॉलोज. क्या वहां पर सॉइल टेस्टिंग हुई है? आई हैव सीन a 5-floor building becoming 3.5 floor, you see, in Bhuj. And mind you, I was, like my colleagues, you see, Joint Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Government of India picked on me and sent me within 12 hours of 26 January 2001. I had never been to that kind of a situation in my life. I said, I am gone, I am buried, you see. Fortunately, I was able to come back also. Literally, the earth was shaking when I landed within 12 hours at 8 in the night in Bhuj, in the first Indian Air Force aircraft which was sent by Government of India, you see. With 24 doctors from AIIMS and Safdarjung and whole lot of drugs and equipments and seismometers and satellite phones and whatnot, etc., you see. And then you see these kinds of things. One floor or more than one floor just gone inside because so much of liquefaction has taken place. So did anybody do soil testing? No. Then, क्या घर और फ्लैट भूकंप से सुरक्षित है? Is it resistant? क्या बिल्डिंग या मकान जो है BIS कोड, ब्यूरो ऑफ इंडियन स्टैंडर्ड्स के नेशनल बिल्डिंग कोड के मुताबिक बनी है? क्या बनाते समय किसी स्ट्रक्चरल इंजीनियर की सलाह ली गई है? I think these are some very pertinent questions which we all need to think, deliberate within families, take decisions, because I am sure everyone would agree that schools must be safe even if you make fewer schools. There cannot be a development view where you say we have to go for large number of schools even if it is unsafe. No. How can you put your children into jeopardy, you see? Make lesser schools, make lesser hospitals, make better roads, you see. Make lesser bridges, but better bridges, which stand. Not only earthquake, but what I am saying, maybe by, somehow it gets related or seems to be only earthquake related, but it's not so. It relates to every whole range of disasters, you see. So I think that is something which is very, very important, and we are into this kind of a thing. Now, so there is a strong line of argument that all unresolved problems of development really lead to disasters, you see. So there is a close link between disasters and development, and we need to really take a look at that, you see. Now, I'll just briefly mention, because I have been told to close. I'm sure you see the time always sort of runs out. There is a pressure, which is fine. That we must all look at the response of Japan, to 11th March 2011. I have lived in Japan, so I really personally feel sad and bad for that, you see. That is one society which has suffered the worst in the humanity in 1945. And once again, I think what they have suffered, I hope no one else suffers, you see. It was terrible, you see. Despite all the preparedness, you see, the tsunami beat them. But earthquake didn't beat them, you see. Earthquake of 9 on the Richter scale didn't really beat them, you see. It was tsunami, and then the nuclear crisis, you see, which happened. But there are many things to be learned from Japan. I'm not really going into that. But I'll just talk of one thing which is very important from everybody's point of view and each one's family's point of view, is what is called disaster personalities, you see. If you read the Time magazine of 23rd June 2008, after 9/11, then they came up with this. The title page itself is How to Survive a Disaster. They came up with 3 case studies and one hypothesis, that in the time of disaster we behave in 3 different ways. There are 3 different personalities, you see. One personality is when people freeze, you see. People just freeze. So they are unable to react, you see, and therefore they suffer, you see. Second personality is when people overreact and panic, you see. And therefore you must have seen images of people holding each other's hands and jumping from 10th, 15th, 50th floors, you see. I'm sure you have seen videos of that, you see. But fortunately, there is a third personality of those people who know what to do, and more than that, they know how to do in the time of a disaster, you see. They neither freeze, they neither overreact and panic, you see. But this, it is important to know what to do. Hold, cover, duck, things like that, you see. But it's more important to know, you see, how to do it. So that is why, you see, this, I don't know how many of you really took the mega mock drill which was held in Delhi recently, you see, seriously, last month, you see. But I think it was a great exercise, great initiative by NDMA. Each one of the institutions, you see, each one of us in our families, we need to really talk about this. We need to really practice this, you see, with our children, with our families, you see. And then only in the time of a disaster, we can really respond safely, you see. Lastly, see, Bihar is celebrating 100 years of its creation. And so Bihar Divas will be celebrated from 22nd to 24th of March. Our authority is putting up a huge stall for public awareness and education, including mock drills not only by Civil Defense, National Disaster Response Force, Indian Red Cross, etc., but also inviting people to participate in those mock drills. And let me invite all of you, to come to Bihar and join these celebrations of Bihar Divas in March, this month, you see. And let me end by sharing with you what is the aim of disaster management, or what is the aim of all this security which we talk. You see, ultimately there must be some aim which will emancipate us, you see. What is that, you see? Is it a safe society? Is it a secure society? Or what? Japanese used to tell me, my friends, that Sinha-san, there is only one thing which we have in mind, and that is peace of mind, you see. All these are fine, good words, but ultimately what each one of us needs is peace of mind. And I couldn't agree with them more. So thank you very much for your patient hearing. Namaskar.